What happens when you take decades of cultural tension, anger, and resentment and give those who carry it a sartorial symbol? What is the end result of decades of othering and demanding a group assimilate by removing aspects that define who they are? When you empower one group to persecute and harass another, what do you get? A riot. Over the weeks leading up to June 2nd of 1943, Latin and Mexican communities living within Los Angeles found themselves under constant threat of persecution and violence. Every breath they took was read as disrespect, regardless of what they did, said, or wore. Every action openly interpreted as a crime. Under police sanction, white residents of Los Angeles, alongside groups of off-duty servicemen, who the press and the police referred to as a task force and not a roving gang of violent criminals as they often did their victims, they more than failed to intervene. They often punished the victims. For over a week, these mobs were lionized as vigilantes, as taking care of a foreign invading gang of hoodlums. Over the course of that week, the violence continued to escalate beyond the shadows that civilians who were not actively participating in the persecution could pretend not to see. Mexican Americans were beaten, stripped, and their clothes burned in the street as a symbol of their persecutors' own superiority over this group that they had grown encouraged to hate. But all attempts to fight back, all attempts to protect themselves and their community were read as justification for the attacks to continue to be necessary, and thus the cycle began to spiral and expand to the point where the military barracks had to be locked to prevent servicemen from leaving, and over 600 Latin and Mexican Americans were arrested, though, it should be noted, there were very few servicemen or white civilians who participated that were ever charged.